Hey guys, it's Brooke here from The Vintage Gardener. Welcome back to my channel. So today's video, I'm going to be going over my seed starting setup. I'm going to do a couple of videos on seed starting because I know it's that time of the year where everybody's starting. I have a lot more subscribers to my channel than the first time I did these videos, and so I thought it would be good to do a refresher, not to mention show you some new things that I have found. So for today, I'm just going to be going over the equipment and stuff that I use. And then in a different video, I'll go over actual seed starting. So first things first is you're going to need some containers and that sort of thing. So I'm going to show you the things that I have used, I absolutely love. And so I get my seed starting stuff from Greenhouse Mega Store. The reason I do that is that for those of you guys who are just new to my channel, I always tend to start a lot of seeds. I would say that since I came to this house, I think my first year here, I started maybe about 1,000 seeds at least. And then the year after, it was like, consistently like 2,000 to 3,000 seeds. And of course, now that I have Peonies, Petals, and Posies, and I have my nursery license, I'm going to be selling them. So obviously I'm going to be upscaling even a little bit more, which I know some of you guys are thinking, really? Because you started a lot before. So anyway, when it comes to seed starting, because I start so many, I don't go to Lowe's and Home Depot and get the traditional 72 cell trays. Because I'm starting so many and I have I have a limited amount of space. When it comes to seed starting, I typically use a couple of different trays. Number one are the 512 trays. And this is what they look like. And they're called 512 because they're 512 of these little bad boys. So like, for example, this year I started about 500 Lisianthus, Roseanne Brown. And so this is the type of tray that I used. Did I start 500? You know what? I think I started more than that. I started more than that. But this is the tray that I use because what's really nice about this is if you're starting a lot, you can put all of one seed in one tray and they germinate at the same time, rather than doing something where you like start like a little bit of one thing and another, where some things are sprouting, other things aren't. So if you're doing a large quantity of a lot of things, that's a great one. And that's typically what professionals tend to use. Another thing that professionals use, like for farming and that sort of thing, this is a 288 cell tray. So it's a little bit bigger and deeper than the 512. But this is a nice one. I've been using that for my stock and that sort of thing. So this is another option. Now, if you don't have that many, then, you can go with the traditional insets. This is what the 72 cell, trays that you get out of Lowe's and Home Depot. This is what they have. I bought these inserts from Amazon. I do like them because I think they were stuck together like two, but basically you can separate them out into 6. So for example, if you're starting, peppers, you can have like you want to start peppers and tomatoes and some other things, you could put all your peppers in this, all of your tomatoes in this, and that way when the peppers germinate, you can take these out. So it does make it nice from that standpoint. And then of course there's what you put these in, and the industry term is a 10-20 tray. Now this is the same size as a 10-20 tray, but it's not a 10-20 tray. This is a germination tray. And so especially with something that's like a little bit more shallow like this, it just rests on top of here. Now sometimes when I do bottom water, I notice the roots will grow down past the little past the little holes, and it will kind of take get the water from the base. But one thing that's nice about this is that if you bottom water, there's no danger of, like, for example, the dirt or the little root system sitting in water and drowning. I personally think that it helps with the damping off issue. Now the traditional tray is, let me get one. This is the standard 10-20 tray. And so once again, 72 of these go in here, and that sort of thing. So that's how that works. And I got this one from Lowe's. Greenhouse Megastore has some, and some of them are much heavier duty because these can get kind of flimsy, and you know, when you're carrying them with water, I've had some accidents happen. And so if you're going to do a lot of it, I would just recommend getting the heavy duty ones because they're a lot stiffer. And the other type of tray I tried this year is this one right here. The unfortunate thing is that this one does not fit in a 1020 tray, and it's made to be used with a specific bench type system, which I don't have. But this has 200 some cells in it. It's really nice because it's very, very deep. And if they actually made a tray for this, this would be perfect. It does allow for a lot of root room, so you don't have to necessarily bump it up quite as quickly. Like I said, the only disadvantage for me is that it doesn't fit into the standard 1020 tray. If they start making a tray that this will fit into, I would definitely purchase more of these because I do like it because they really can stay in here a while because of the deep root system. It's about 2 inches to, actually more than 2, about 2¼ or 2½ inches deep. So this is a nice one. Now these are all the things that I just showed you. These are referred to as plug trays, okay? On top of the plug trays, you're also gonna need a humidity dome because if you are not aware, when starting seeds, seeds need like 90 to 100% humidity in order to germinate. Now, the one thing you'll hear a lot of people talk about with seed starting is the issue of damping off, which is a fungal issue caused by too much moisture, which is why I use this particular type of humidity dome. As you can see, it's got vents on it. And so the thing, I like it because, for 2 reasons. Because number one, especially in a situation where you're starting multiple different types of plants under one dome, if something's sprouting a lot earlier than the others, you can vent it a little bit to reduce the humidity, and it's nice because that usually prevents damping off. And because they can, they're getting less humidity, they'll be fine. You can continue to keep them in the tray a little bit longer. And so you don't have the issue of losing additional seedlings. And what I'm talking about is that a lot of times you'll see people use the Jiffy trays with no vents, and they'll say, oh, when 50 to 75% have germinated, take the lid off. But then of course it becomes a lot drier, especially depending upon your environment, and sometimes the rest of the stuff really won't germinate. This is great because you can just vent it so the plants that are already sprouting don't dampen off, but it still maintains enough humidity so that the rest of the seeds can continue to germinate. And once again, I got this from Greenhouse Megastore. There's a taller one which I use for cuttings, and that's a completely different thing, but let me get it. Okay, so if I'm going to do cuttings, like rooted cuttings, like chrysanthemum cuttings, I use bigger containers, and so because it's taller, this one is great because it's taller, can accommodate a taller plant, and it does have vents on it. So it's great for that. If I was gonna, I have some tomatoes, and quite frankly, the tomatoes and peppers seedlings I have would probably do better if it's warmer. So I may actually put them in pots and then just put the dome on them and just vent it to let the humidity out, just so that it gets them a little bit warmer so that they can start putting on some significant growth. So that's another item you may need. Okay, so that's what you use for starting plugs. Now, once the plugs get a certain size, you need to pop them up into something bigger. And so there are a lot of options on Greenhouse Megastore. You have to choose what works for you. So I'll show you some of the things that I've used. This is a 2½ inch by, I think it's 3 inches. It's nice, it's deep. It's bigger than this plug. And obviously with the 288 or the 512 trays, it's going to give you significant additional root room. It allows the plant to get pretty good size, when I'm doing plants just for me personally, because obviously I can control when I put them out. A lot of times I don't want to, you know, take additional space and use additional potting soil to do a bigger container. So I'll just do it in this, and this works absolutely fine. If you're going to use the standard 10-20 tray, you can fit 32 of those in there. So it's really nice. It's really nice for that reason. And like I said, it does allow significant root development, and the plants can get kind of big in here. Then the other one I also use is a 4 by 4 by 6 inches deep. This is when I'm going to bump up stuff. I do bump up things like, for example, tomatoes, because those grow fast. A lot of the vegetables grow really fast, and so once I get them out of the plug tray, I usually pop them right into this, because in a matter of weeks the roots have filled this out. When I have my chrysanthemum cuttings, I pop them into one of these and I leave them in for 6 weeks, and then I you know, put them in the yard. But this is a nice one for anything that's gonna you know, grows quickly, anything that's got a taproot on it. So for example, lupine, I've got some lupine. If you're going to do if you're going to start things like corn indoors, this is a great one. If you're going to start some sunflower indoors for a little bit, this is another great one to use. And this, if you use a standard 10-12 tray, this only 10 of these will fit. Then let me get the round ones. Okay, so this is a nice one. This is a coax pot. Pretty industry standard, pretty decent in terms of strength. It's not flimsy. This is 4 inches, and it's about, I guess, maybe 4.5 inches deep. So this is a good thing. This is a good one to use if you have something that's got a taproot in it. It's not gonna give you as much space as this. But for example, if it's only gonna, like for this, maybe, depending upon the plant, maybe 6 to 8 weeks it'll last in here. This one's probably gonna be more like 2 to 4 weeks. But if you're doing a lot of like annuals and that sort of thing, this is a great one to use. If you're gonna use the standard 10-12 tray, you can get like 15 of these in here. And last but not least, this year I'm doing some tree pots, and I'm using these for the sweet pea that I will be selling, and I may use them for the poppies, but with the poppies I might actually just do these. So this is a tree pot. It's got striated sides to encourage deep root growth. I'm using it for the sweet pea because if you guys did not see the little clip that I posted on Instagram earlier today, and today is February 21st, you know, those sweet pea have already sprouted, and they're already, the root system, I think they're about this big, and so they're already going down pretty far. And so by the time I'm ready to sell them, they probably will have already gotten to the bottom of this, and then hopefully they'll start bulking out. But I just wanted to give them plenty of room to grow so that they're not stunted. Because one thing I can tell you is when I've tried sweet pea in the past is that, especially if you don't plant them early enough, if you put them in a smaller container, they ended up getting stunted pretty quickly. So I think that this type of pot is going to give them, number one, 8 inches of growth down here, plus 3 inches of growth to the side. So I think this is going to work very well. Now this, you really can't sit, I guess you could sit it in the standard 10-12 tray, but they do have a tree pot tray. So let me show you that. This is a standard tree pot tray, and this will, you can fit 25 in here. So it's a tray, so it's perforated at the bottom so you can water it. But yeah, so that is the trays and stuff that I use. Then the other thing you're going to need is a heating mat. Heating mats, in my opinion, are essential. I think that when it came to seed starting indoors, using a heat mat totally transformed my entire game. So I use this kind. It is by BN Link. And then they have a separate plug-in thermostat. It works with anything, any mat you want to use. And so you just plug it in here and you set the temperature. Absolutely essential, especially if you're going to do something like, for example, Lisianthus. The reason I have now being able to start hundreds of Lisianthus and have like 90% germination is because of a heating mat. Because Lisianthus, they like that 75-degree bottom heat, and when you give that to them, they pop out of the ground a week later. It's absolutely glorious. So definitely get yourself one of these. This one right here will fit a standard 1020 tray. I do have this mat in a 4-foot wide one. So if you have a lot of them, you know, a lot of trays, you can use that one. And so with the 4-foot one, I just basically fill my plug trays up, just line them up. I'll have 4 at a time. And that is how I do that. So let me show you my grow light setup, because of course I know you guys want to see that too. Guys, so these are the racks that I use, and they go all the way down here. I got them from Lowe's. So the silver ones I got from Lowe's. The black ones I ordered off of Amazon, and I will put the link. When it comes to grow lights, I do have some, like, you know, ones by GE, but I also have just shop lights. Now, I know there's a lot of people who feel like you need to have one warm and one cool. I'll be quite honest. I have been just using one kind, and I don't necessarily notice much of a difference with the plants. Actually, I don't notice any difference, so I don't think it's essential. But then again, I also grow my plants right in front of an open window, so during the day, they're also getting a good amount of sunlight. I do use the chains that are attached. I think that's unwieldy. I like these hooks, and I'll put a link because I got them from Amazon. And so the nice thing with these hooks is that if you need to raise the plant, you can just, you know, give it a tug and it'll come up. And if you have to release it or lower it, you can just click this button and it'll come down. So that's pretty much how I do that. And last but not least, I have, let me go down here, for timers. I like the Enbrighten system because they have an app on the phone. So they have a power strip, and with the power strip, the 3 on one side are smart plugs, and the other ones are always on. They do have just a single socket, one like that over there. And so, you know, I think this one is like $13. You zoom in on it. That one's $13, and this one I want to say is $33. So you name them and all that other great stuff. I haven't been using a fan. A lot of times I just, you know, do this with my hand. So I try to get my stuff out as soon as possible. And I have a low tunnel, and I'll be setting that up in a couple of days so I can show you that. So this is where I put my stuff after it's sprouted. Let me go show you my sprouting area. Okay guys, so this is my sprouting area. I got this green stand from Lowe's, and it's really nice because it has this string, and it's got that little thing right there so you can lower and raise the light. Here's the 4-foot light that I'm using. This is a 7,000 lumen light. And then as you can see, I've got the heating pad right here. And let's see. So, these are Scabiosa, Black Knight, and these are some sort of Snapdragon. These Animation Cognac, and these are the Sweet Pea. These are the Winter Elegance, and these are the Royal Maroon. And so as you can see, with the bottom heat, you know, that those Sweet Pea are getting, the roots are already at the bottom. So I'm popping these out into the tree pots. So anyway, that is how I do my seed starting. and I forgot this over here. I did get this nice big tray. It's almost like 4 feet long. I got this from Greenhouse Megastore. It's great to, pot up things on here, water things. Obviously it gets dirty. It's catches everything. I got a set of measuring cups from, Home Goods that I use exclusively for gardening. Oh, here's one of the tree pots that I potted up this morning with the sweet pea. And so, yeah, that's how that looks. And so I'll pot the rest up tonight. And I got to make sure that the labels stay on. But yeah. So anyway, guys, that's a really quick view of how I'm doing everything with seed starting this year. Like I said, that's what works for me. You can do whatever you want to do. I've tried other containers and things from, plugs things from, Amazon, that sort of thing. And, when I was doing a small amount of plants, those were fine. And I'll post the link to them. But when you're doing a large quantity, I just like, I like the more professional grade stuff because, with the plugs, it saves space until you pot them up. And then it's just like, oh, wow, I need 500 pots. And that just takes up space. So when it gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to go outside and I'll show you guys the what I got from Neversink Farm, the low cat tunnel, because next week it's supposed to start getting warmer. So I'm going to be transitioning the lupine and stuff outdoors. So actually, let me show you that while I'm here. Okay, guys, so this is the lupine. This is the Morello cherry, and they're big. They are so big. So next week I'm going to start moving these outdoors. These I think I potted up later, but they're all doing really, really well. So today is February 21st, and I planted these. I started these on January 1st. So we're talking about 2 months of growth. That's how they're doing. So can you just imagine how they're going to look come April? Okay, so these right here are the Lisianthus, and they've got a second set of leaves. These are some larkspur for me this year. That right there is Sapoglossus, and down there is stock. So, and these are the Cappuccini Rudbeckia. So I've potted them up. They have really long roots. And so I think in a couple weeks, they're going to start putting on more growth because it's only like 90 days till bloom. So it's a first year blooming perennial. So they'll get bigger. That is some Snapdragon, Sapoglossus. Those are Columbine. This is Bishop's Lace. And back there is, I think that's the Cat Ruby stock. Let's see. This is Jewels of Opar. This is Yarrow. And these are more Lisianthus down here. And these are some of the stock I potted up yesterday. They're actually looking kind of perky. So those I think are going to start taking off. And so, yeah. So that is that. Hey guys, last but not least, here's the sprayer that I use. I like battery operated ones. I do have some pump ones. They're a pain in the butt because all the pumping, yeah. Get yourself a sprayer. It's more expensive, but you're going to like it so much better because especially when you have this amount of plants that have to get watered and fertilized, having to stop and pump it up every so often is just a huge time waster to me. So yeah, so that's that. So, I think for right now, that's pretty much it in terms of the actual equipment. I'll go over more detail with, like, for example, the lights and that sort of thing once I show you guys the seed starting video. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you having a good weekend. I hope you guys enjoy getting your stuff for seed starting, and I hope you guys found this useful. And guys, I'm gonna post some links for peonies, petals, and posies. I have a Square site. Keep looking at that. I did get licensed so that I can ship things out of state. So I may make a few things available online for purchase. I have not decided yet. And guys, I'm still figuring this whole thing out. So I've got to get boxes and all that other stuff. So it's probably not going to be much. It's just going to be a few things. I mean, you know, quite frankly, it might be the type of thing where I just, you know, for out of state people, there's a couple of people who have been following me almost since the beginning that, you know, I regularly interact with. They may be my guinea pigs. But, I'm hoping eventually to get to the point where I can offer, I can start offering more things online. I do have some garden plans that I have drafted. And so I'm going to make those available for sale. It'll be electronic. So that basically once you purchase it, I'll send you a link. I'm going to probably put those for like maybe $5 a piece or something like that. And so, yeah, that's it. So if you guys have any questions or you want more, you know, more detailed, I don't know, there's something else you want to know, have I tried or something, just give me a shout out in the comments. Just let me know and I'll be more than happy to answer that for you. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.